The CJ and Go TV podcast, episode 10. It's Jane.
And it's JV.
And we are here with podcast number 10.
Yes, we're back. We took a week off, as you could tell.
Yes.
Some of you guys.
Well, I think it's important that we take a week off when we need it right now, just because it's so hard to get all the content up and filmed and balance life with a 6-week-old.
Exactly. It's like our lives are pretty filled right now with like all the stuff we've been doing on YouTube, and now we're doing this Twitch push, which is been going really well.
Yeah.
And we have a newborn, and we're trying to still pay attention to BMO, and we've been like taking care of our yard, and like.
And we're starting up with JV gaming, like we're really kicking that into gear.
Yep, Jane just got a real, like, what would you call it?
Drive?
Yeah, like you want to really get that going.
Yeah, like I'm excited. I want to finish The Walking Dead, man.
Yeah.
I want to play that game so bad, and it's like our live show has changed so much. So
it has changed.
If we go to JV gaming, then I can just play.
Yeah.
And I can talk to people. I wanted to give an update on what was happening with me last time we did a podcast, because so many people reached out to me, like people that are still in my life or used to be in my life and stuff like that, because they saw how I was like struggling with the baby blues.
Yeah, that's what it's called, baby blues.
Yeah, well, they say it's normal for the first 2 weeks, and then after that it's kind of postpartum. So, sort of postpartum, but I mean, I think it's good that I'm talking about it, and that I'm giving other people a chance to also talk about it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool because some moms reached out to me that had had babies, and they felt the same way. And actually one mom reached out to me, my friend Paula's sister, and she invited me to her mommy group. So cool. Tomorrow I'm going to a mommy group.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm going to go for like an hour because we have that meeting after at 1:00.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go and, just be able to talk with other mommies. And I think it would be really cool. Maybe you should join a daddy group.
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm okay.
You're such a weirdo. Like, why don't you want to make friends with people?
There's no such. I don't think there is daddy groups.
There
might be, but groups. It's not as popular. I'm okay though. I don't really need daddy groups. If I do, I'll let you know.
I am feeling a lot better, and that conversation that we had via the podcast actually led to JV and I talking a lot more about what was happening. And it kind of worked out really well for us and for me, because he's really been like you have been taking her more and like kind of understanding that sometimes I need a break. Yeah. I've
been trying to be more aware of that and be on that more, like just
like see when I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah, and just take her and just hang out with her and like change your diaper more.
Yeah,
do stuff like that.
Oh, I wish you got that last one.
I just changed it. And then
no, guys, no word of a lie. JV changed her diaper. He passed her to me, and he went downstairs to you went downstairs to like grab something or whatever, right? Yeah. She let like a 30-second fart rip, and I could just feel her diaper filling. It was so gross. It started oozing out the side. It was nasty.
I had no idea how much baby throws up. Like,
yeah,
so
that's
much.
So gross too.
It's crazy.
So today I went out with Charlotte. I wanted to bring my brother his Father's Day gift that I got for him, and I wanted to see my mom. And then my mom, after Charlotte finished eating, I burped her. She threw up. She was good. She threw up like 3 times. My mom's like, is she all done? I'm like, she's never done. She's like, oh, well, she did 3 times, so she's probably done. Give her to me then. And then my mom picked her up, and she was holding on to her, and she started walking around, and Charlotte threw up on her. She's like, I haven't even finished paying for this shirt yet. And then anyways, so I took Charlotte. She cleaned up her shirt. She came back. She's like, all right, give her back to me. And then she held her like the other way so that her head was facing out. And then Charlotte threw up again and it hit her in the pants. My mom was like, Jesus Christ. Getting on that. It was so funny.
Okay, so Charlotte's been throwing up a lot. So what?
They call it spit up.
Yeah, spit up. Okay, she's been spitting up. So every time I feed Charlotte, I have like a blanket that we used to wrap her in, but she's too big for now. We have like 10 of them. So I put that over my shoulder, covering my chest, and then I have a couple wipes because I know she's gonna throw up. So every time she throws up on this blanket, and I wipe her up. It's normal. Like, okay, I get it now. It's been happening for a while. Every single time Jane feeds her, she just lifts her up, puts her on her new, like a fresh shirt, throws up all over the shirt, and then she complains like, oh my God, I just used this shirt. And then she'll go change, and then she'll grab Charlotte and put her on her chest again. And then the baby will throw up. Like, Jane, what are you doing?
I'm going through like 5 shirts a day.
Like,
I am not learning anything.
And then your mom just did the same thing.
Yeah, I know. The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Oh my God, just put one of those blankets over your shoulders, so if she barfs all over it.
It was and my mom did it back to back, just like me. It's like,
oh my gosh,
yeah,
you guys.
I never knew how much like having a baby would make your life filled with vomit. It's just everywhere.
I just fed her before we pressed record, and she hasn't thrown up once, so it's going pretty well.
Yeah. Didn't she throw up while she was eating though?
Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But BMO's just all up in the camera here, trying to get our attention.
She just needs some affection. So whenever we're filming, like the last couple days, she's been on the table.
Yeah.
Like it's actually
wherever we
fun.
go, like if we bring Charlotte to the bedroom or the living room,
BMO's
like
there.
we're all just kind of chilling in the same room. She just wants to be around us, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I hope it makes her nicer because she's so sweet to us, but so evil to other people.
To everyone else.
Yeah.
All right. So you got any questions? Any topics?
Yeah. So someone actually asked in our live stream. They asked about my weight loss journey from pregnancy. JV, how many days did it take for me to hit my pre-pregnancy weight? Do you remember?
I don't know. It was fast. I don't know the exact number.
It was 11 days.
Wow, 11 days.
So 11 days after they took Charlotte out, I was back to my pre-pregnancy weight.
Wow.
Now, ask the important question.
I don't know. What do you...
Say how?
How'd you do it? How did you do it? Did your husband like restrict your... Not restrict, but...
Yeah, restrict is the correct word.
Was he
My
in charge of the groceries?
Played prison guard.
No.
The snack cupboard.
But like, I made sure to like, for us to still eat healthy and stuff while you were pregnant, because that old wives' tale, like,
Eating
oh,
for
you got to
two?
eat for 2. Like that's not a thing.
Not true.
It's all
like for half the pregnancy, the baby's less than the size of a peanut.
Yeah, it's just so it's not a thing that. So yeah, I took control, and you didn't gain much weight.
No, I gained 27 pounds, and it was all gone 11 days later. But I mean, a lot of it came out with her, right? Because of her weight and like the placenta and like all the blood and the fluid and stuff. Gross. But yeah, it was 11 days. And I gotta say, you know, I would say for like 80% of the pregnancy, I was pretty mad at you for not giving in to my desires. Like I wanted cookies, I wanted double stuffed Oreos, I wanted cereal with cookies. I wanted actually just to put Oreos in milk.
We did eat some like bad stuff, but
like,
you know, in moderation. Bad stuff,
yeah. And the amount of pizza that I wanted to consume versus the amount of pizza you allowed me to consume, like I'd say I had maybe like 1/250th of what I wanted.
Yeah.
So you know, I wanted to say officially on the podcast, on camera, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was hard, but I gotta say, you know,
it's worth it. Now look at you. You're like back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to wear all my clothes again 11 days later, and you know what? I'm so appreciative for that.
When can you go back to the gym?
Not for, well, it was supposed to be in 2 weeks, but because of that setback when I did the gardening, it might be 4 weeks.
Okay.
So, but I can't go to the gym. I can start to do small things.
Well, you can go to the gym and you can treadmill and
yeah.
walk and Stepmaster and stuff.
But I'm gonna go back to the gym for July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're off for June.
My surgery's coming up. So
yeah. Do you want to talk about your surgery?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like.
Yeah. So okay.
I mean, I can't mention it and then not talk about it.
Yeah. So let's say
Davey's
I don't know how
having a
I'm
heart
bad with
transplant.
timelines.
Just kidding. He's
so,
not.
I'm bad with timelines. So a while ago, I noticed like there was like this lump on my hip, my right hip, like this.
Like the groin area, right?
Yeah, like on the side, like on the side of my hip, there was like this like softball size, like I don't know. It was like
a growth, you would call it.
Yeah, but it looked like my skin was just
bulging,
like swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like any of the words I'm choosing.
Yeah, because it wasn't gross. It just looked like it was swollen. Like the side of my hip was swollen. So it was like that for a while. And then I went to the doctor and then he's like, how long has this been here? I was like, oh, like a few months. Like he's like, is it getting bigger? I was like, yeah, a little bit. And then he's like, is there anything new you've been doing? Like what's going on? And I explained to him, I'm going to wrap this around. But let me just, yeah.
Okay.
So, he didn't know what it was. He felt around and then he sent me for an x-ray. So I went and got an x-ray and then waited, and then he went back to him and he's like, I still don't know what it is. It's inconclusive. So I'm going to send you for a MRI. So I went to set an appointment for a hospital, went to the MRI, got that done. Actually, first I talked to this plastic surgery doctor, and I told him what I thought it was, and then he's like, that's weird. Let's just get an MRI done. Got the MRI done. Got back to him.
What did you think it was?
I'm gonna tell you after because that'll spoil the whole thing. So, MRI went. So I was while doing the MRI. You're in this like coffin style like pod of like this like.
Is it open? Like is it like the movies and TV shows? When you go in on this like tray.
Yeah, that's exactly like that.
Okay.
But the machine is only so tall. And I'm a tall guy, so my head was kind of sticking out the other end. So I wasn't like
fully immersed.
I was kind of immersed, but like, they're like, you're tall, so you're sticking out the other end.
So basically, if my friend PETA got in it,
yeah, she'd be in the whole thing.
The whole completely, thing. And it would feel like there was a tunnel behind her and towards her feet, right? Because she was so petite.
Yep. So you're in there for like, I think 45 minutes. Just like you're not allowed to move. You got to stay still. Gosh. And there's like weird sounds going on, like for like 45 minutes. And then they have an IV in your arm. And then, so I was in there for 45 minutes, and then they brought me out, and they're like, we still don't know what it is. So we're gonna have to put this fluid in your blood. This this neon fluid, so it'll like, they
like
can
a
see.
bone scan.
So they can see what it is. So they put that in my arm, and they put me back in for another 20 minutes.
Holy.
And then they brought me out, and then they're like, the IV was in wrong. And then like 3 or 4 nurses ran in. They're like, oh my gosh, like it was in wrong.
Oh.
And in my head, they were pumping that stuff in like in my body, just like.
Well, it's supposed to go into your bloodstream, but I mean.
Yeah, but just like they missed, and it's all in my body. Like I've heard of that, like pumping air into you and stuff. People dying. And I was like, even before I got there, I'm like, I don't want to be one of those people that go to the hospital for like a checkup and then they die, So, and then that was happening, and all these nurses were coming in, and then they like huddled around a bit, and then they told me like, okay, it's nothing's that bad. It's just we're gonna find your vein again, and this like nurse that was good with veins found the vein on my other arm, which like you could see it. I can
see it right now.
I can see my veins easily, so.
That's so scary.
I wasn't back in there for another 20 minutes. So, like, I was in there for a long time, 85 minutes. Finally, they took me out, and then I had to wait again, like, weeks. I had to go back to the hospital, talk to the plastic surgeon guy, and then he's like, I still don't know what it is.
Oh, gosh.
And then he's like, there's a few things it could be, and one of those things, it could be cancer. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, this is crazy. it's been like months at this point, like 4 or 5 months of this whole process. And then he's like, I'm going to send it to Toronto General
To specialist.
for a cancer specialist. Actually, I'm going to do a biopsy and then send the piece to the cancer specialist downtown. So they set up another appointment, and then another couple weeks, 3-4 weeks later.
I was very pregnant at this point when this was happening.
Yeah, I kept having to drive like 45 minutes to this hospital. But anyway, they cut my leg open, and then they took a piece out. First, they numbed me, and then they used like this hot...
the burner thing?
The burner thing to cut me open. It was fine. Like, I didn't care. It was fine. And then they took the piece out, sent it, had to wait, and then the test came back. Finally, the test comes back, and they realized that it's just scar tissue.
Okay, but do you want to... No, it was before that. Do you remember calling me at work? I could murder you right now.
Because we kept saying that one word, right? Like,
No, we've never said this word. It was you said this, and it was like, I swear, because I called you, and I said, how did it go? And you said, oh, it's lymphoma.
Because we talked about that earlier, like it could be lymphoma, and then I was just like,
okay, so that was in
these
your
words
head.
got screwed up.
But you said it's lymphoma, and I immediately burst into tears because that's a death sentence, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what killed Charlie, and I was like, oh my god, like Justin's gonna die, and I tried to not let you know how much I was freaking out, and then I was like, it's lymphoma, and then you're like, yeah, it's lymphoma, and I'm like, oh, and you're like, what's wrong? I'm like, lymphoma, I can't believe it, and you're like, wait, what's lymphoma again? And it was like, it's cancer of the lymph nodes, and you're like, oh, not lymphoma, benign.
It was something
I'm
else.
Gonna kill you.
I forget. It was something
else. Oh my god!
Else.
It was like the complete opposite. It was like, I have cancer. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, that's the wrong word. No, I'm completely cancer free.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
So I'm at work. I'm sobbing. I'm in the health room. My students are coming in. It was like, oh god, it was rough. Then I had to teach that whole period after. And I was, Miss, are you okay? I'm like, I think it's pregnancy hormones.
Yeah. So when I first went to the doctor about this lump on my side, he's like, have you been doing anything different? And I said, yeah, I started kickboxing.
Oops. Spilled my water.
Yeah. And I said, I started kickboxing, and I'm like getting kicked a lot, and I'm kicking a lot. Just from like, I played soccer for like how long? Maybe like 15, 16 years of my life. Yeah. I stopped for years, and then I started doing like intense kickboxing. So, like getting kicked and throwing kicks a lot. And I'm like, could it have something to do with that? Because I've been getting kicked right where
it's happening.
This thing is by my friend Shaz, like who's the same size as me. Like we played on the same team. Like he's a big guy. Like we're both like going hard on each other, like kicking each other. And so that's what I'm like, could it be something to do with that? I keep getting kicked here. And he's like, no, that's nothing. And then I went to the plastic surgery guy, and he's like this jacked, like, Asian guy. So like, I could figure he's like muscular, like he knows what he might know. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing kickboxing a lot. I'm getting kicked in this one spot. It could be, something to do with that. And he's like, no, that's weird. I never heard of that. And then it comes back after all this testing that it's scar tissue because of the kickboxing. So all this scar tissue built up in my hip and the side from throwing kicks and getting kicked. Like all of a sudden, it was like my body was in shock from just all of a sudden, just all this kicking and getting kicked. It just
and
started
because you used to
mass.
do soccer so heavy or football for UK listeners.
Yeah. So that's all it is. And then I'm gonna have surgery in a week. I think on the 20th or something.
Having it removed.
And they're gonna cut it out of me. So.
Your plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery.
And
it's free though.
Charlotte and I
we live in Toronto. We live in Canada, so it's free.
Amen for healthcare.
Yeah.
I'll tell
you. That's my cancer scare story.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
I was scared for a while. I thought it was cancer.
Remember we had a cancer scare with me too?
Yeah. They sent it to the cancer specialist.
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was just my doctor found a lump in my breast. And then they sent me to North York General Hospital, like breast clinic, like where Charlotte was born. And yeah, they determined it was fine. Yeah, it was scary. My story's a whole lot shorter. Okay. Now should we get into our questions?
Okay.
Okay. So, what is one place that you want to go on a family vacation one day? Price is not like a hindrance.
Okay. What? You're asking me that?
Yeah. I want to know because I know 100 places I want to go, but I want to know where you want to go.
Money isn't anything. I'd probably want to go in orbit, like.
Oh my God, no! Somewhere realistic, please. Every time.
Or the International Space Station.
Every time.
What? Well, if you say money's no object, I would want to go to the International Space Station.
To go to a real place.
That's a real place.
I understand. Okay, to go to a place where Charlotte,
on
you,
Earth,
and me can
somewhere
go.
on Earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Ay. I can't believe I always have to set these rules every time. Where would you want to go? Space, orbit. I want to go to the moon.
If they they're gonna have a moon hotel eventually.
We're not going there. Tell me on Earth. Where you want to go on a family vacation? It could be something so nerdy, or it could be like super cute.
Okay, I want to go to. I'm not sure. I'd have to do research on this, but I think in Disney World or Disneyland, one of those places, there's like a Star Wars.
Disney World is in Florida. Disneyland is in California.
Whichever one is the best one, and whichever one has
them. Land is in Florida.
Yeah, whichever one has there's like a Star Wars place, and then there's like a Star Wars hotel, and it's super expensive.
Which.
And yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm bad at this. I haven't really thought of.
So you want to go on a family vacation to Disneyland or World?
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know.
Okay,
you go. Give me some ideas.
So somewhere, like just in general, like the first one that I can think of that I would want to do is first, my plan is to read Charlotte the Harry Potter novels. Like that'll be our pre-bedtime stuff. You know, like maybe we'll read a chapter every night or half a chapter every night. And then I'll just get her like kind of like really interested in Harry Potter. And then I want us to all go to England. In England. Sorry?
Mordor?
No. In England, they have like a Harry Potter themed place, like a Hogwarts kind of style. And you go and there's Diagon Alley and there's everything. And it's so cool, and people keep going and posting pictures on Instagram and stuff, and I'm super jealous. And I want my daughter to love Harry Potter as much as I did, so I really hope she likes it. And I know that I got you to watch the movies, but the novels are just another story. It's so good.
Would you have picked that if I didn't pick the Disneyland thing?
Actually, no. I would have gone with something else first. I mean, like that one is, you just put it in my head. So that's one place I would want to go. But the first place I'd really want to go on a family vacation, and money's not an object, I would want to go on a cruise, like say even longer than the one that we did. Like we did a 13-day or 14-day.
It wasn't that long. 14-day cruise? No,
yeah.
It was 9 days.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was 9 days.
Okay, so then I'd want to go like 2 weeks on a cruise ship and just hit up like all the ports, and then we stay in the suite. You know, at the top of the ship.
Oh yeah, I remember the 9 days were like it was a bit too long. It was like
but I mean, if we had Charlotte and stuff, and it was different, it wasn't just me and you.
Remember the rocking?
Sorry.
Remember like the boat was moving.
It was only hard on the first couple days, and then I adjusted.
Yeah.
I think you don't remember it properly anymore.
No, I do, but I just think around the end of the trip we were like kind of like ready to get off.
Yeah, I don't know.
2 weeks.
I mean, I think it would be great, but you go to a lot more ports. Like we were on the ship like 2 days there, 2 days back, you know? Like I think if it hit up more ports, like left from Miami or something, that would be great.
Yeah,
then
the
Charlotte
cruise was
could
fun.
Like see the whole Caribbean. Like
the cruise was awesome, yeah. I really like that.
So that's something I'd want to do. I mean, you're hating on all my ideas.
No, I'm not. I just thought it was a little bit too long, but I love the cruise idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and another place I'd want to go, obviously I want to take her to meet her great granny, my granny. I want to go to Limerick, Ireland, because I think Granny would love Charlotte. I just want to see her with a little baby, because my granny had 15 kids. And right now, for like another week or two, Charlotte is the youngest of the great-grandchildren.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but then my cousin Rob, his wife Emma, is having a baby in like 2 weeks. And then they will have it. But I have like 35 first cousins on my mom's side. And do you know how many cousins you have?
No.
You never know anything.
No, I don't care.
Anything family related, Justin doesn't know it. Hey, JV, what's your blood type?
O negative.
You do not know your blood type. Stop lying.
Stop embarrassing me on the podcast. All right, what's next? Okay, let's talk some current events.
Okay. Want to talk about Drake?
This would be current, but we're like way late on this. But yeah, the Drake Pusha T beef.
I wanted to talk about that for so long.
I know, we're so late now. It's like, I can't believe how fast like news comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's like no one's talking about it anymore.
I still want to talk about it.
But okay, do you want to? We could break the whole thing down, or we could just kind of talk about a little bit of it. We can talk about okay, let's break a little bit of it down.
Okay. You want to take the lead?
All right, for those who don't know, Pusha T and Drake have been having a beef for like, I think 6 years.
Yeah, and we should mention that we're kind of biased because Drake is from Toronto and we're from Toronto.
Yeah,
and
but
Toronto people have to back each other.
I love Pusha T though. I've been listening to Pusha T way before Drake.
I think Pusha T is extremely talented, but I think when push comes to shove, like, we're Team Drake, right?
Yeah, ultimately Team Drake, but still, I love like the Clips, Re-Up Gang.
Is so talented.
I've been listening to Pusha T for years. I went to his show when he was in the Clips with his brother. But yeah, they've been beefing for years, and then recently it like got worse.
It hit a new level.
Yeah, so Pusha T's new album was coming out, Daytona, which is a really good album. 7 tracks, produced all by Kanye. Have you heard it? You haven't heard it?
No, I haven't listened yet.
But on one of those tracks on the 7 songs, it's called Infrared, and then Pusha T said some stuff about Drake, and
there's only 7 songs on the album.
Only 7. That's like Kanye's new thing. Like his album has 7.
That's terrible.
Pusha T has 7. All his artists, he wants to have 7 songs on.
But if I still bought CDs, I would be furious.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's a good album. But it is weird to only have 7 songs.
It's
like 21 minutes.
Didn't Chris Brown put out like 35 songs?
Yeah, that was too long. That was way too long. But still, that was a great album, The Heartbreak or whatever.
Yeah, Heartbreak on a Full Moon.
So yeah, what was I saying? Shoot, you threw me off.
You were talking about Pusha T and Drake and the beef that they've been having for years.
Yeah, so Infrared came out, and then he said some stuff about Drake, and then Drake made a whole diss song called Duppy, which I watched so many like breakdowns of it, and like Americans, and they had no idea what it meant. They didn't know what Duppy meant, and you didn't know what it meant either.
I still don't know what it means.
It's a ghost. It's like a Jamaican term for ghost.
Oh, sorry.
Patois.
I can't believe that I don't know Jamaican terms for ghost.
Well, it's so
sorry.
It's like Toronto slang too.
Who's going around talking about ghosts?
Duppy, you never. Yeah, I guess it's more. I've heard that term more in my family than outside of the family.
Why would anyone be walking around? Oh my gosh, I saw a Duppy in my bedroom last night when I was trying to go to sleep.
You've never heard that
No.
though, in all of your like years of, because Peter Gate's dad's Jamaican. I don't know.
But why would he be talking about ghosts ever?
I'm pretty sure you've heard that somewhere. But okay, anyway, it's called Duppy, and then he made fun of Pusha T. A lot of his rap for years since like he started is talking about how much he sold coke and how much money he made off selling coke, and it's pretty much
so
drug
wrong.
rap. Yeah, it's pretty much like drug rap. So him and his brother were in a group called the Clips, and they're identical twins. So his brother quit the rap game because he felt so bad about all the drugs that he sold and like the people's lives he affected. He like quit, and like I don't know if he's a he found God or something.
Yeah.
But his brother Pusha T kept going, and then Drake made fun of him for just like all he raps about is drugs, and like he found out that his brother sold more drugs than him, and all this like kind of like petty stuff.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned Pusha T's wife. He says, "I'm gonna put a ring on it like Regina Williams," which is Pusha T's wife. But he wasn't saying it in a bad way. He wasn't like dissing his wife or saying anything disrespectful.
Yeah, he just mentioned her name, right?
Mentioned her name. But because he mentioned her name, Pusha T said, like, you mentioned my wife's name, so that's it. Like, I'm going to go
my family.
off on you. Yeah. But it wasn't even that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad.
RIP headphone users. I saw how that went really high there.
Yeah. So you want to continue with Pusha T's comeback?
Okay, so
And I'll correct you as you go.
Pusha T's comeback came out, and Instagram and Twitter and everything went crazy. And then I had called JV. I was on my way to a track meet. No, I was on my way home from track meet, right? And I called you, and you were like, "Have you heard the Pusha T comeback?" And I said, "No." And JV's like, "I really want to talk to you about the comeback." And I said, "Okay." He's like, "Can you listen to it right now? You can go on SoundCloud. Do you have the app? Go on the app. Look up Pusha T. Go to the first song, okay?" And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Then you can call me back." And then he hung up. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I listened to it, and I'm thinking like, "Oh, it's probably just something like whatever." My mind was blown. I forget what it was called. Something strange. The story of Adidon. And anyway, basically, someone from Drake's party had leaked to Pusha T that Drake had got a stripper pregnant, and he paid her to shut down her social media accounts, and he was being a deadbeat dad. And
okay, hold on. Let me.
Okay.
So a year ago, TMZ released that Drake has a kid a year ago. And it wasn't like, I didn't hear about it. You didn't hear about it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. It kind of was, I don't know. I didn't hear about it. And we're huge Drake fans. So a year ago they leaked that. And then he didn't make the girl delete her Instagram. He just made her clean it up. I don't know if he made her.
Oh,
but
I thought he paid her.
She cleaned it up. Like, she got rid of all her like provocative stuff, and she just kind of, I don't know if all of her I haven't checked it out.
Isn't she a stripper?
The story was she was a stripper, or she did softcore porn or something. It wasn't.
Oh, he did say porn star.
It wasn't like,
stripper,
and it wasn't like
porn
hardcore
star.
porn. It was like it wasn't as bad as he made it sound.
Porn is porn, man.
Softcore, that's not even sex. They're not even having sex.
Oh, I don't know anything about
Softcore porn is simulated sex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not. That's nothing. So it's not even. It wasn't as bad as he made it sound, but so he kind of outed him, and he said like, "You are hiding a child. Let that boy come home." Like, how he was pronouncing everything and how he like said everything.
Actually, Pusha T has great diction.
Yeah, and he made sure when he said that to really emphasize that.
Let that boy come home.
Yeah. Man, it was bad. So he outed him for that, being a deadbeat dad. What else did he say? Oh yeah, he made fun of his parents and his dad. How his dad left him at 6, and he's just like his dad.
And then he made fun of what's his name for having MS.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was bad. So Drake's like right hand man is 40. 40, like he said multiple times, without 40 there's no Drake. A lot of people might not know who 40 is. He's like if you might have seen him, he's like kind of a shorter white guy with glasses, shaves his head. So he kind of produces a lot of Drake stuff, and they're like, you know, they've been in the game since the start. But 40 has MS. Yeah. Multiple sclerosis, I think. Yeah. And he's kind of like, he's slowly dying, like he's losing it.
Yeah, and he said hunched over like 40, right?
Yeah, like 40 hunched over like he 80, tick, tick, tick. And something like, how much time does that boy have? Sick. And like he just kept going, and he made like you know how like that 6 sound, like 6 6, the echo. He did that, and then it was just and then I saw multiple interviews after that, like the Breakfast Club.
Well, it came out on National like MS Day.
Yeah, and that song came out on MS Day,
gosh.
National MS Day, and Pusha T had to issue an apology on Twitter about that. He's like, I didn't know, sorry.
What?
So,
you didn't know? You're making fun of someone with a disease, you dummy.
So it came out. I saw like Joe Budden's podcast analyze it. I saw like Breakfast Club, and a lot of people were saying that Pusha T went a little bit too far with all that stuff. A little. And then some of them were saying he didn't go far at all, because if you remember the Tupac and Biggie beef, like there was like they were making fun of everything, like family, and like there was
I effed your wife.
Yeah, there was none of that. But like. Yeah, so there's back and forth. People are saying it might have gone too far. People saying it's not. It's rap. You can do anything you want. But to me, that was too much. I don't know. That was too much.
Like we have different standards than we did during the Tupac Biggie war. Mm-hmm. You know, that was the 90s. It was like things that were acceptable to say then. You would cringe if you heard them now.
Yes, especially when they refer to like gay people and stuff. You can't, like, it's just not acceptable now.
Oh my gosh, it was when I listened to some old songs, even like
old
there's
Eminem
one of Kanye's I just cringe every time I hear it. I'm like, oh my god, how was this acceptable?
It was bad.
Even watching Friends, sometimes there's like they do things like it's specifically always about gay people, and it's just like I can't even believe.
Yeah, it was a different time. This is something
you grew up with, but it was different time. But it doesn't make it okay.
I know, but there's even that argument for. I was listening to Just Two Boys. It's Just Rain's podcast. He's from Toronto too. He's a YouTuber, and they were debating about Apu. Like, there's a lot of backlash now for the Apu character.
But I loved Apu.
I know, but like this is the thing. Like, it's not like people are upset about it now. So then there's some people want them to like go back and like, what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Like, not air episodes. Like, get rid of it, or
that's ridiculous.
Like, it was just a different time.
Oh, you know? Now I get it.
Because the convenience store.
Now I'm understanding where I'm like going wrong, you know, versus like, because I'm like, well, that's okay, but then it's not okay, you know, like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, going back to not air episodes of Simpsons, like, I didn't think it was that bad. Was it?
That's the thing. Like, they were talking about it. Like, he's Just Rain's brown guy. He's Sikh.
Yeah.
So it's just like things that were acceptable back then aren't acceptable now. So what do you do about it? Okay, I think we're getting off topic though, but
it's okay.
So the Drake and Pusha T thing. So yeah, it might have gone too far.
Yeah, we totally went. How did we end up on Apu?
I don't know. We kept going. We just go into rabbit holes sometimes. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Drake was about to. If you don't know, Drake was about to announce the fact that he has. And Jane's on her phone and distracting her.
I'm just looking. I'm listening.
Very professional.
I missed a phone call. I wanted to see who it was from.
All right, let's stop and pick it up. Don't worry.
Will you hold on a sec? Just kidding. Okay. So he was about to announce his son and do like this whole thing with Adidas, right?
Yeah. So he partnered with Adidas to launch. I think some kind of OVO Adidas clothing line, and he was about to tell the world about his son. Mm-hmm. And then it leaked to Pusha T that he was about to do this, and then Pusha T released this and totally destroyed that whole thing. So that was supposed to happen already.
What drove
totally
me
squashed
crazy was that I don't even know if this is true. Did Drake really put out like an amount of money, and he said, if you have anything on Pusha T, like, come to me? Is that true?
I heard he put $100,000 like hit on, not hit, but like,
but that's what I was gonna say,
information.
Hit. But I'm like, I don't think that's right. It's funny that you chose that word
for
too.
Dirt on him. Okay, so I learned a little bit more about this too. So when Drake was discovered, Drake rapped in Canada for a bit. He had a couple mixtapes, and then this guy from the States found him. I forget his name. and then
Wayne?
introduced him to Lil Wayne. He was the bridge between the two.
Yeah.
So this guy, I forget his name. If you guys know, let me know.
He raps about it. God, in one song, so-and-so flew us out to meet Wayne.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember the line,
but I forget his name. So he flew him out to introduce him to Wayne, and that guy's father is kind of like an OG in hip hop. He's kind of like the Godfather or some along those lines of like Kingpin, Godfather type guy in hip hop. He's done a lot. So that guy was interviewed on the Breakfast Club last week, and on a couple different radio shows.
Yeah,
and he said that he's close with Drake. So Drake has a comeback song, and he played the song for this guy, and this guy said, "It's too much. Like you're gonna ruin Pusha T's life, and you could ruin Kanye's life as well."
Oh my gosh, really?
So he advised Drake to not release the song because you could ruin both of their lives if you release this song.
Yeah,
and he's on these interviews saying this, so it's real. Like it's not like rumor or anything.
Yeah, it looks like he got his money's worth.
He got the dirt. Yeah, he got whatever he needed. Like maybe Kanye cheated, or maybe Pusha T did something weird, or who knows? Who knows what it could be? But
Kim would destroy Kanye if she found out he cheated.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but he said that. And then I heard other speculation of people saying the guy thinks it's not good. That's why he said don't release it. But who knows? Like that's speculation. But the guy said, I forget his name, but he advised Drake not to release it because it'll ruin their lives, and that's too far.
Yeah. Well, this sort of like really hurt Drake. Actually, it didn't hurt Drake at all. It maybe foiled his deal with Adidas.
You know what it did? It opened the door for people to attack Drake. Because before, what he did to Meek Mill, it was like, don't
he almost won a Grammy off of a diss track.
So before, it's like, don't even mention Drake because he will destroy you. And now it's like, holy crap, Pusha T can do it. And look what happened to him. His album sales went through the roof. It's the biggest album sale he's ever done.
So the one with Meek Mill, I just remember Drake had a concert in Toronto. He does the OVO Fest every year, and he brought out Kevin Hart and Will Smith. So like two of the biggest people to come out of Philly. And then the photo for that song, like the album cover for that song, was a picture of Joe Carter hitting the home run where Toronto beat Philadelphia in the World Series.
Back to
back.
Yeah.
And it was just like so clever.
And did you see the for the song the story of Adidon?
He did Drake in blackface. So Drake had to explain that on Instagram. Yeah. Which is crazy, like that he forced him to do that. Yeah. Do you know what the story was about? Yeah, it was about like he was having a hard time getting roles, so he and his Sudanese friend, right? They did blackface as like kind of, I don't know, it wasn't for ironic reasons, right?
It was so before Drake was on, I think even before Degrassi, he was a YouTuber. So him and his friends would make they made a YouTube series of like I forget, it's still up too. So a bunch of the OVO guys were in it. Yeah. And it was a web series.
Turn on the shaker there. Charlotte's going mad.
And in that web series, one of the episodes was talking about how, like, even Drake and black people, black people in general, when you go to audition, they want you to be a certain way. Like, yo, what's up? Yo, how's it going, son? Yeah, like, you know, and you can't just be...
It's typecast.
Yeah, typecast. And he was trying to express that through that picture, a series of pictures. Yeah. And then Pusha T got a hold of it.
And used it against him.
But there's a legitimate reason why.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
And, you know, maybe it's a good thing that picture came out because then it brought up the issue again. Yeah. Because that's still, like, it's still apparent, you know, that it's like many black people are typecast in roles. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, some shows try to go beyond that, but, like, it's still very prominent in the industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And that drives me crazy, like watching. And like the Indian guy's always the doctor, or he's the convenience store employee. It's one or the other, you know? And that really drives me mad too.
Yeah, I like shows like Master of None where they
break those social norms.
Yeah, and they talk about that stuff. Like him and his
did.
Yeah, him and his buddy would go.
We can't have two.
What?
Remember he said that he got the email thread by accident, and it was like, oh, which one do you like? Because we can't have two.
Oh yeah,
they can only have one brown guy.
Two, only one. And then him and his brown friend would go for auditions, and then one audition was like they wanted him to have this like serious Indian accent, and he refused to do it, and then the other guy did it, and then he got the role. Man, but it's still prevalent for sure.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So that's it. And it's been weeks and Drake hasn't come back with, he didn't release the song.
Well, they came out saying that it was squashed.
Oh, did they?
Yes. So
I didn't see that.
I heard that on the radio. Because they were talking about it, and then they said, well, Pusha T and Drake have come out saying that their beef is squashed. It's over. So we're not to expect anything else. I don't know.
I wonder if Drake's going to drop that bomb.
I mean,
because the song is
he's
made.
got it sitting there, right?
I know.
Oh, I see. I'm kind of like a little bit vindictive sometimes where if I was angry, like if Pusha T had done that to me, that song would have been out. Like out.
But at the same time.
And it would be like, oh, it'll ruin his life. I'd be like, and what?
But in the song, the Duppy song, when Pusha T was making fun of Drake for ghostwriting and stuff, like what Drake does, it's not really ghostwriting. It's like he'll come up with a song and then he'll have a couple people helping him with like lines
making
and stuff.
Sure that it's good.
Making sure it's good, maybe giving some input here and there, but for the most part, Drake he writes the whole thing. A ghostwriter is someone who you don't credit them.
Yeah,
it's like a secret, but he credits everyone who helps out. Like you could see, he credits everybody. Kanye does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So when Pusha T was making fun of Drake, Drake's like, then what do you think of your Kanye, you guys were producing the whole album together. Like he does the exact same thing. So if Drake releases that song, he'll cut his ties with Kanye too. And they're close. Oh. They're like neighbors. Not neighbors, but they live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, well, Drake has a compound, right?
Yeah, and they're at each other's house all the time.
Yikes.
And if he released that song, he'll ruin his relationship with Kanye. So
I don't know. Okay, ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know, let's see. What's one thing that you've done that you'll never do again?
Oh, man.
You just got quiet for a second.
It could get real serious, or I could keep it funny.
Well, choose. Anything. What's one thing you've done that you'll never do again?
Oh, that's such a loaded question. So many things. There's so many things. You go first.
Okay, I was thinking about it, and I think one thing I've done that I'll never do again. I think travel, like alone backpacking in Europe. Like, I'll never do that again, or with a girlfriend, because after that scary time I had in Italy, it changed me as a person. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That was so scary. My girlfriend Teabags and I, we were walking, and these we didn't know where we were. We were kind of just exploring, and we felt like we were safe. And it wasn't like we were dressed provocatively or anything, but we were just like out strolling about, and these three guys, we kind of realized that they were following us, and they were like closing the gap and getting closer and closer. And I used to be a runner, so I knew that we started making our way back towards the hostel we were staying in. And I knew I could make it. I could outrun these guys no matter how fast they were. I knew I could beat them. But Trisha isn't a runner, and she's had like back surgery and everything. And at one point we just stopped talking and we started walking, and we slowly tried to pick up the pace because we didn't want them to know that we knew they were following us. And then they started to yell out things in Italian, and we didn't understand. And then I could hear my heart beating so loud in my ears that I could barely hear my feet, you know? And every couple it felt like every couple of minutes, but it might have been every couple seconds. I'd say to Teabag, "Can you make it? Can you make it? Like, can we start running?" And then she's like, "Not yet, not yet." And I was like getting so scared because they were closing in. And then I was like, what am I going to do if they close in and I take off running and she gets raped and murdered or taken? Like, can I live with myself? And I knew the answer was no. So I'm like, okay, then both of us are going to be raped, murdered, and taken. And I was so scared. And then finally she said yes. And we took off running. And the guys started running after us, but we got into the building.
How many meters do you think you were away?
I don't know.
Or feet?
It was close. Like when they got about 20 meters from us. And they had been like way further, right? But it wasn't so much the distance that they were getting to us. It was the distance of the building we needed to get to.
Yeah, like
how far away it was.
Like from here to the mailbox. Like
I would say, yeah, it was probably about 40 meters away. Like when we finally got to run, maybe 50, like maybe half 100 meters. You know, like it was. But oh my god,
was there people around?
No. Because we didn't know that Milan was like basically empty in the summer because everyone goes there in the fall. But what would we know? We just booked trips. We're like, wow, it's so cheap to go to Milan. Let's go. And we jumped on a plane and went. But it was so scary. And when we got into the hostel, we tried to tell the guy at the front desk, we're like, there's 3 guys chasing us. Like, call the police. And he was just so rude to us. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like, he wouldn't. And then he barely knew any English. And we're like, call the police. And he wouldn't do it. And then we wanted to go upstairs. But the stairway had a door that opened to the street and someone had propped it open. And we saw that as we were running past. So we were like, we can't go to the stairs because they can get us in the stairwell. And we stayed downstairs for like probably 4 to 5 hours to make sure that they were gone. And then we went upstairs when other people were going upstairs too. And it was and that was our first day in Italy. And we were there for 5 days. And it just ruined my Italy experience. And it changed the whole trip.
What time was it?
It was the middle of the day. It was like 1:30.
What? I thought it was really late.
No, it was 1:30 in the afternoon. We were out walking, looking for a grocery store because we were hungry. It was so scary. Like, I will never forget it in my life. Like, how long ago did that happen? 5 years ago?
I wonder how do you avoid that? Do you try to look like a local? You probably had like all your backpack on, you had your Canada hat and...
Well, no, we didn't have that. We were in like summer dresses. But the thing is, in like what we assumed, like when we started looking around Italy, it's full of Italians. I do not look Italian. Trisha definitely doesn't look Italian. She's like Jamaican and Trini, and like I have freckles. Like I'm more Irish than most Irish people. You know, it's just it was. Oh God, it was like they knew. And then after the couple of days later, there was a guy that spoke English at the desk. And we were telling him about what happened to us. And he says that they target young women. And he says he doesn't know if they ever get them. And I thought, like, that is so scary. Yeah.
It's like that movie Taken.
I know. It was so nuts.
I would have had to fly over there and... take on like 50
we
guys.
We were barely together. Like we had just started dating, you know?
Yeah. I remember you called me and told me about that night.
Yeah. I called you like right after it happened. Mm-hmm. You weren't a happy camper about that.
No, I was pissed.
Yeah. So that's one thing I've done that I wouldn't do again. Like I will try not to put myself in danger. And then I have kind of like a funny one, but also terrible from when I was like 19, 20 years old. So, I went to school in Windsor, right? I did university. And
it's my turn.
No, let me finish this one. This one's good because then it'll give you perspective of what to tell. So kids from, like in Canada, the drinking age is 19. In the US, it's 21. So athletes from Michigan State and University of Michigan would always come over like on the weekends. So then I prided myself on being a little saver, like saving money and stuff, right? So we would go to the bar on like Friday or Saturday or like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, whatever, the pub downtown. And then sometimes we would walk or we'd take the bus to try to save some money. But going home, you had to take a taxi. So I would always hitchhike. It's so terrible, but I would just like wait. I'd put my thumb out and then someone was like, hey, can you tell me how to get to the bridge? And like the Ambassador Bridge to get back over to the US. And I would be like, I'll get in the car with you and you guys just drop me at this place and I'll get you there. And then even if the car was full, I would like lay on top of the people in the back and direct them. And I can't believe I am not dead. I did it like almost every weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would get them to drop me off at the Chinese
the
food place, Dragon's Inn.
Back then?
I know. Like, there was one point when I was in a pillow fight in the bar, and I had a sports bra underneath and a matching skirt. So I tore my shirt off like Hulk Hogan before my fight. But I was pillow fight champion, man. I was incredible. I was so unassuming because I was, like, little. But I would beat people on the mattress in the bar.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, I mean.
I can't believe you used to do that.
Pillow fighting or hitchhiking?
Hitchhiking. Pillow fighting, that's nothing. Hitchhiking.
Yeah. It wasn't nothing. Like sometimes you would get a fist on a face.
I know, but compared to you
hitchhiking, yeah, I could have died
and buried somewhere.
Yeah.
There would be no CJ Go TV.
There would not. And even later, like I remember going to Miami Airport and I was with Stacy and we were meeting up with some friends and we didn't know where Miami Beach was from Miami Airport. I think it was Miami Airport. Maybe it was Fort Lauderdale. I don't even know. Anyway, we met these Persian guys on the plane and they're like, hey, where are you going? And we're like, we're going to Miami Beach, like South Beach. And they're like, oh, cool. How are you going to get there? And we were like, I don't know. And they're like, oh, well, our car's full, but do you want to come with us? And me and Stacy were like, sure. We thought we're saving so much money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I sat on the dude in the front seat's lap. Stacy sat on some guy in the back seat's lap. And they drove us to South Beach. And
you sat on strangers' laps?
Yeah. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. Why
was I such an idiot? I was like 21 years old then. Maybe 22. So stupid. Yeah. I could be dead. So could Stacy.
Sure. Many times, man.
Yeah.
Well, mine, I'm not going to go into detail, but mine was like getting into fights. I used to get into a lot of fights.
Yeah.
With random people. Like people I didn't know.
That's crazy.
Like after clubs or at bars or in the club.
At least yours is bad too. Like mine, it's not just me.
Yeah, I'll get into fights and for stupid reasons too. But I never lost. The only time I ever lost was when there was like 6 or 7 Tamil guys and they beat me up. And then I was bleeding, like my face was covered in blood. Yikes. And then I couldn't find my friends. But I was all concussed from getting like beat down.
Oh, was this when you were in the hospital and they kept asking you your address?
No, that's a different time.
Oh my gosh.
That's when the cops beat me up. But
how is your brain okay?
So I was like kind of wandering the streets, and then this homeless kid came across me. He found me, and then he was like, "Yo, man, like you okay?" And I couldn't. I was all messed up, and he's like, "I'm gonna walk you to the hospital." So he walked me to the hospital. I got stitches. And then I called my girlfriend at the time to come pick me up. But
wow.
That was the one time I lost. So there's many other times, like stories. But we're running out of time.
Yeah, that's a horrible story, by the way.
Yeah, I got stitches on my eyebrow. That's where this eyebrow cut is from. Do you see it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was an afterlife on a Sunday.
Man, I never really got into the Toronto club scene because my club years were like in Windsor, in Ottawa, like, and then when I came back to live in Toronto, I just worked in the clubs.
No, I would go so often that I had a card with my picture on it, and I could just get into clubs by showing that card.
Oh my God, you're a club rat. You know how there's like mall rats, and there's those club rats that are always in the
to the front of the line.
Like, you know,
I'd have a card, and I'd just get in. And people thought, like, For some reason, like, it's so stupid now. It's the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
But having that card and getting into any club I wanted, like, it meant
cool?
something. Yeah, to people too around me. Like, they thought I was something. But it's so dumb.
It just meant that you were wasting the most
money.
Yeah,
wasting the most money in these stupid clubs. Like, it's so meaningless now. But at the time, people were like, whoa, like, who is this guy? And then
is there still clubs in Toronto?
Yeah, I think so. I'd hang out with the DJs, and they all knew me. And man, all right, that's embarrassing. Oh my gosh,
that is so embarrassing. Stupid. So that's something you've done, but you would never do again. Like, never. So you'll never fight again.
I'll never fight with random people for stupid reasons again. If someone's like hurting you or Charlotte, obviously I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
But like, I'm never gonna, like, you know, people get into like fights for a parking spot or like
even I get heated. Incident. Like, how many times have I been in a scrap with neighbors, right? Like, mine goes verbal.
I avoid all that because I know the consequence of me fighting could be me going to jail and then losing everything. You, Charlotte, BMO, like, just from one instant where I get into a street fight. Yeah. It's not worth it. I just rather just keep going and then just coming home to my amazing life.
Aw, that sounds so good.
And that's a good place to end it.
I wanted to end it there, but I want to talk about my 2 fights.
No, next time. We're over the time limit here.
All right,
guys. You know what to do. Follow us on SoundCloud. Click that follow button. Click that heart if you liked the video. Yeah. Follow us on all our social medias. Go to iTunes. Download the episode. Leave a great comment. Leave a 5-star rating. Go to your Android app. Download the episode, support us there. Yeah, and just keep going.
Also, if you guys want to join us on the live stream, come to the live show. It's on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday over on Twitch. And then also subscribe to the gaming channel. And then there's so few subscribers on there right now. I think there's only like 500 or something. So then it'd be pretty easy for you to actually chat to us in person, I guess. Is that how you say it? Yeah. Via the web. And we're going to be going on as often as possible because whenever Charlie Bear is sleeping, we're going to try to get some gaming in when we're not too exhausted. And it'll be really fun.
Yeah. All right. Join us every Thursday. Make sure to download the episode and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Catch you next time. We're out of here. Peace.